Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for today's morning Srimad Bhagavad-gītā class of New Sriva Sangan, Outpost of ISKCON Seshadripuram. So today we will be discussing from Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, 9th chapter, 29th verse. So this 9th chapter is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. So I will chant the verse. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesho asti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapi aham. Translation. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So this verse, as I said, is part of the chapter called the Most Confidential Knowledge. So this chapter is one of the most important chapters, as we all know that, Bhagavad-gītā has 18 chapters, but out of that, the first 6 and the last 6 are more about giving the, the literally a foreword on, and then a kind of a summarization. But the middle 6 chapters, that means from 7 to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, these are the core of the knowledge that Krishna wanted to share, which gives complete understanding for the soul of his position and his relationship with the Lord, who is Lord and all that. So this one is about who is the Lord, the most confidential knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Bhyam, Pavitram, Paramam, Idam. This verse which I quoted also comes somewhere in this chapter, in the initial stages, where the Lord says, this knowledge which I am giving to you is the most highest knowledge, most confidential knowledge. It is the most sacred knowledge, and it is the most transcendental knowledge. And he also says, I'm giving this knowledge to you because you are non-envious. So therefore, this knowledge is confidential simply because, just because it is available in written form, that doesn't mean everybody can understand it. Therefore, there needs to be some qualification, which Krishna is talking about, where he's telling Arjuna that, you are non-envious of me. So, with that kind of a qualification, under the guidance of the spiritual master, one can easily come to the platform of perfect understanding of Bhagavad-gītā and apply it in our life. And it's just very, very, very easy. But generally, having said that, everyone struggled to get that. So, how many other times we are reminded, we tend to deviate from the main path of devotion. So Krishna is talking about these aspects where he is saying, the core, what is core spirituality? Spirituality is in one sense, it's a broader meaning. People may understand I am the soul, that is fine, that is also spirituality. And then what do you do with that understanding is also considered spirituality, and 99% of the people gets deviated there. Understanding the soul is one side of it, but later, after understanding what is the soul, then therefore what? So, okay, I know I am the soul, so what? When that so what comes, people are bewildered. They come to wrong conclusions, or they start getting misguided, or they get completely deviated from the reality and understanding that, the soul Beyond that point is that if you know I am the soul, then what is my position? Just like when we have a human body, I have a role to play, depending on what I am in terms of my social status, in terms of my relationship with people like that. So if you are defined as a soul, then what is your role? So that becomes more prominent, because the understanding of who am I is only to understand, therefore what? I mean, if I understand I am body, I act in a particular way. If I understand I am air, I act in a particular way. If I understand I am a mountain, I act in a particular way. Now, if I understand I am soul, how do I act? That clarity does not come to most people, and that is where the confidentiality is important. It is written everywhere, but still people don't get it. Therefore, it is confidential. That core knowledge slips them, even though they are reading it in different ways. With so many interpretations, they get lost into the real meaning, and therefore it still remains confidential, even though it is an open book. People don't get it, therefore it is confidential. Now, in that context, the Lord is coming to this point. Therefore, what is the position of a soul? Is basically it is eternally existent, not that it mixes with something else and then loses its identity, but in reality, it is actually connected to the super soul, the higher or the the mega soul, and not that it mixes into it, but it simply works in tandem, serving that super soul. And when I say super soul, I am not talking about the super soul in our heart. That is also there, but that is at this stage. But when you go to the spiritual world, finally, after understanding I am soul and I've got nothing to do with this material world, then I go to the spiritual world where this super soul that is in our heart does not come with us there, because the original is there in the spiritual world, where the Lord is physically present there. And our job is basically to serve that Supreme Personality of Godhead there. That means working in tandem, closely coordinated, and in the process, both are very happy. So now, in that context, Krishna is explaining to this, to Arjuna, that what is the process which a soul undergoes, and in its identification with various so-called spiritual practices, actually ends up only going up and down the ladder of this material planetary systems, the 14 planetary systems. When you perform pious activities, you do some regulative principles of prescribed in the Vedas. Then, you go up to the higher planetary system. And then from there, you enjoy for a long time. And from there, again, you come down. Maybe, once you come down, again, you get into karmic activity. And that karmic activity may again push you up, or it can push us down, depending on how is our consciousness at that state when we again come down to this middle planetary systems like earthly planets. But he says, this going up and coming down, or considering many of those powers, the so-called powers which give us this elevation to be God, is all completely wrong. And he says, okay, these are all also part of Vedic knowledge, but he says those are not the absolute truth. Yeah, everything has relative truth, but there's something called an absolute truth. So the absolute truth is that I am the one and only sustainer of anything that be, and ultimately everything is given by me. He talks about these aspects in a few verses earlier. And in that process, he says, therefore, you completely dedicate everything unto me. Whatever you eat, whatever you perform austerities, whatever you do, you perform all these things as an offering to me. He says how to do that. And he says in that way, you will be relieved of the karmic reactions and you will be delivered. And he is there also talking about his in this particular verse, he's talking about his actual position, that irrespective of what you do, it does not affect me. So he's saying I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. So, whether you are a believer or a non-believer, it doesn't matter to me. I am always the provider for you. I am always the provider for you. So that's why we see so many times people who are non-believers are actually doing much better than devotees from a material standpoint, or from an economical standpoint, from a health standpoint, from the bodily opulences standpoint, from intelligence standpoint, material intelligence standpoint. They all look wonderfully capable. Many people sometimes get disillusioned to say, oh, I practice devotional service. I thought I will get this. I will also become like that, like that. But I'm not got XYZ. But you look at these people, they are all completely irreligious. Maybe they are got some little, what do you call, spiritual inclination, but they don't really follow anything. They simply do it as a, what do you call, formality, but they really don't have any attraction to spirituality. Or there are also completely demoniac people who completely disagree with the existence of God. They think life is just to be enjoyed, and that is all that matters. And whatever we need to do, we do that. And that is our perfection of life. Life is to enjoy. Now, this kind of mood. But so the Lord says, whichever is your nature. But so the question is, so they get disillusioned to say, oh, the Lord is not helping me. So the Lord here is saying, that is not the point. The point is, I give irrespective, whether you are a believer or a non-believer. Ultimately, I am the only one who's having anything. So I am to give. It doesn't matter whether you are believing in me or not believing in me, because that is simply my role to give. And, he says, I am not insecure, right? Oh, those people who are accepting me, I will give them. But those people who are not accepting me, I will not give them. I will punish them. No, he's not insecure. He says, okay, if you don't believe it, so be it. If you don't believe in me, so be it. That doesn't matter. But the reality is, I am still your father. And, we know the father has to provide to the child. Whether the child is a good child, bad child, unruly child, or a very well-behaved child, or respects the father or not respects the father's primary duty is to protect the child. So in Krishna's mood is that, I don't envy any of you, like whether you accept me or accept me, I have no problem. I give for every one of you. Having said that, in the next statement, he says, but this but is a big thing. Whenever you say but, he's going to reverse his statement. That Krishna is also doing. He says, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend of mine. So immediately you can ask, right? Prabhupada says, like, first one sentence you said, I am completely neutral. I have nothing to do with envy, and I don't distinguish between people. Then immediately he is saying, how you are partial, therefore, to your one who is showing devotion to me. For this, Prabhupada says, see, this is natural. Right? Just imagine, you may be a great philanthropist. You may give so much wealth to so many people around you. But that doesn't mean, you are not very caring for your own children, right? You may be a great philanthropist. You may give openly, equally to everyone. Oh, this person has this problem, you give it to him. I don't look at his caste, creed, nothing. I give it to him. Someone else comes up with some other issue and says, I need the money. Okay, you take it. So he is not very partial. Oh, this person, I will give only for this caste, that caste, nothing. I give for all castes. But that doesn't mean that he does not look more favorably towards his own children, right? So this is a very crude example, because if you apply the same thing to Krishna, then that we have already said everybody is his children. But then why this special treatment to this children? Because these are actually who have actually connected back to the Lord. That is the most important. These are devotees who have connected back to the Lord, while the others have not established that relationship. So they want to be neutral to him. In the sense they have not accepted him as the father. So he says, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam tateksha bharata. That means to the extent you come forward, I also come forward. So they have not fully accepted. They are looking at it in a different manner. The Lord says, so be it. I am okay. I don't envy you. Don't worry. I will give you how much ever you come forward. I will come forward. If you want to look at me as your enemy, so be it. I don't mind. If you show some devotion, I am also getting to you some closer. That's 1 step, 2 step, whatever. And many times they say, if you take 1 step, the Lord takes 8 steps. But still, he does not take the 9th step, right? So that means he only reciprocates relatively, proportionately to his size, he reciprocates 8 times. But still, he does not go completely think, no, okay, if you want to put your borderline with me, I am perfectly okay with it. No, I don't want to intrude into your border. If you open up, I am always ready to come. This is the mood of the Lord. Now, coming to the core of the whole thing, he says, therefore, this natural affinity to someone who is in devotion is given. And we don't have to feel this is contradicting the first line. This is how Acharya has beautifully explained it. Prabhupada very beautifully balances both to say, why you think the second line is contradicting the first line? No, he continues to be neutral to everyone. But the one who has accepted him as the father in the true sense, naturally he protects them, he gives them, he takes charge of their life. That does not mean he is not protecting the other people. He says he is given everything in abundance. Like, just imagine those things, like elephants eat, I don't know, so many kilos per day. Do they go to the temple, ring the bell and say, oh Krishna, please give me my bread and butter or whatever it is, wood and leaves. It doesn't say something like that. But Krishna still provides to those jivas. Like this, there are so many different bodies, different requirements. Krishna is Prabhupada writes, he's a kalpavriksha. He just keeps giving. You just take. Absolutely no inhibitions. You go and take. Go to Tirupati, you will see how many people just taking. And he is not short of giving. You take, but still everything remains in full. So take as much as you want. I have no insecurity like that. But question is, those who are taking Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the real Father, and works in devotion towards him, he says, they are very special to me. They are in me, he is saying, and I am in them. This is a very big statement. So if we are a devotee, our life is completely controlled by Krishna. We are completely protected. And the example we can talk today is about Srila Prabhupada on his appearance day. What better example to have than Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada is completely conscious. So here it is written, like the pure devotee is completely conscious, and so is the Lord. And when these two consciousnesses are, tandemly engaged with each other, it is like gold ring with a diamond, in it. So how beautiful! The diamond makes the gold better. And when the diamond is in gold, it is even, it looks much better, even though diamond is priceless. But in gold, it is so nice, not in some iron or something, right? Imagine an iron ring with a diamond, but gold with a diamond ring, both has its value. But to everything, the diamond adds value, right? Gold doesn't add value to the diamond as much as a diamond adds value to the gold. So the Krishna is diamond, while the pure devotee is gold, and they will go very well together. This is what Prabhupada is explaining. And they work complete, and that pure devotee works completely in sync with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are completely amicable and fully aligned to the way the Lord functions. And just imagine, if you have to put an example to that, is our Srila Prabhupada. Such pure devotee that Krishna was like in him, and Krishna was in Prabhupada and Prabhupada was in Krishna. Many a times we have seen such things. For example, Prabhupada says, he reads his own Bhagavad-gītā and says, Prabhupada, what? You have only written this purport. Why are you reading again? He says, no, I have not written it. It is Krishna who dictated. I am only a transcriber. I just simply transcribed what Krishna said. So Krishna is in him and he is giving this message, and Prabhupada is a perfect instrument. He just transcribes whatever Krishna says. Tak, taka, 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 taka. entire Bhagavad-gītā, entire Bhagavatam, humanly impossible for anyone to write so much literature. I mean, translation you can say, but so much purport. Even translation of those Sanskrit to English or any other language is not practically possible when you are 70 with so much of text, Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all that. Translation. Now talk about writing purport for all of that. Absolutely impossible. But Prabhupada was completely in Krishna, and Krishna was in Prabhupada, and Prabhupada simply did amazing things which no human can do. Building 108 temples all over the world, making thousands of devotees. Devotees means not simply superficial devotees. Devotees who are committed for life. By his few association, like, you go to Japan, he makes a devotee and he says, okay, you carry on. Now I'm initiating you. I'm giving you also second initiation. Now you manage in Australia. They are complete. They don't even know what is what. Like how much ever we, after 10 years of Krishna consciousness, we may not, we still struggle. But there they are just met Prabhupada for once, and then he has made them, okay, you now empowered them, said you manage this affairs in the temple, deity worship, so many things. And he goes off. And, it's not like, okay, immediately people call on WhatsApp and tell Prabhupada, this is what is happening, how I am feeling very dejected, this, that, nothing. They may write a letter which will take a month to reach India, and then he may write an answer back and it will take one more month to reach. So, but in spite of that, his empowerment to all those devotees, next year when he goes there, he sees their standards are perfect. So how is it possible practically? So this is the empowerment Krishna in Prabhupada and Krishna. When Prabhupada does something, when he says something, it is immediately becoming transcendental. The power of the Lord within him, that we can clearly see that Prabhupada is such a great personality that he can transform people just like that. There are also, so his Bhagavad-gītā, so he writes and then people are able to immediately get it. There are also occasions where people, all their insecurity in front of Prabhupada, whatever they are having insecurity in their heart, you go in front of Prabhupada, you become completely secure. These kind of, what do you call, the protection that Prabhupada can give is like the Lord can give protection. That Prabhupada manifested those Krishna's power who's already inside him. And Prabhupada is always glowing, right? When you say when someone is in your heart, for example, when the Lord is in your heart, we saw yesterday, you would have all heard how Vasudeva became so, effulgent when Krishna came into his heart. And then when Krishna moved into Devaki's heart, Devaki became effulgent. So Kamsa was, suddenly she's become so effulgent. He's taking everyday checking. So all these things are happening. Look at Prabhupada, right? He's glowing. Even in his photo, when we see, he's glowing. So that is because he's carrying Krishna in his heart. And Krishna also. Krishna carries Prabhupada in his heart so much that he is such a very close, in whatever way. Once there was an incident when Prabhupada said, suddenly he was in Vrindavan or somewhere, he was talking about his Vrindavan times when he was in Europe, I think. When he was there, he was little unwell and therefore no darshans was allowed. Therefore, one devotee was very eager to somehow meet Prabhupada. So, but he said, no devotees are allowed to meet Prabhupada because he's unwell. So he was having this, I'm unfortunate, I cannot meet up with Prabhupada. He was thinking like that. And he was just walking on the, a road, right? Prabhupada is in opposite building or something like that. They were all in other building opposite. So he was just on the road walking. Then one of Prabhupada's secretary servants comes running and say, hey, Prabhupada wants to meet you. So he was so surprised that, I am having this hankering that I'm not able to meet Prabhupada. And here Prabhupada is sending someone to meet him. So he goes there. And there are very few people there, like hardly 5-6 people, 4-5 people. Prabhupada not well. So he is in a very relaxed state, like not very formal, not very official. At that point in time, Prabhupada is talking to all these devotees. And he suddenly, he was explaining this thing about, in his earlier ashram days, when he was in I don't know, Vrindavan, you are an ashram person and there are 5-6 devotees staying with you and you all lie in a kind of a dormitory bed kind of a thing, right? So he used to say, it used to stink like anything, people may not keep good environment from very clean environment. So they used to stink like that. And suddenly Prabhupada said, I told Krishna I will not go there. That means people are just looking at him like this. I told Krishna I will not go there. But Krishna said, no, you have to go. If you don't go, who will write those books? So this is Prabhupada's sudden pastime. In the course of his conversation with his few intimate devotees, suddenly he went to the spiritual world. He says, I will not go there. And Krishna said, if you don't go, who will do this? Then he says, don't worry, you go. I will take care of everything. I will ensure the books are written. You just go there. I will ensure the books are written. I will send you all facilities, all people to help you do this thing. But these books have to be written. And he says, therefore, Krishna sent you all to me. Not that he was not trying to highlight himself to be a great devotee. Krishna is in me. He didn't quote this verse there. Actually, Krishna is talking about me. He's not saying like that. He's saying, so Krishna, you see, he asked me to go, and now you see, he has sent all of you to execute this duty for him. And, I am feeling so light, even though such a heavy task, I am not doing it. Krishna has made it happen through all of you like this. So this is Krishna in me and I am in Krishna. Or rather, Krishna saying, I am in my devotee and the devotee is in me. So this is a very practical example. Sometimes when you read something in a book, you say, okay, this is fine, next sloka, what is it? But when we think deeper into it and when we are able to put practical examples to it, we really realize how we can also come to that state. So there was one occasion, I will take one more minute. I'm aware I have already 2 minutes beyond my time. So there was one occasion where Prabhupada was giving a class. And then someone from the audience, I think it was about the Mahajanas or something like that. Or maybe he gave a class and then this person knew a little bit philosophy. And then he asked, oh, Prabhupada, therefore, are you the 13th Mahajana? There are 12 Mahajanas. He said, are you the 13th Mahajana? So Prabhupada immediately and without any duplicity, he said, yes, I am. And you can be the 14th Mahajana. So the point he made is, it is not about that, that I am the 13th Mahajana. That's fine. Maybe I am the 13th. That doesn't say that you cannot become a Mahajana yourself also. That, it's not like a title given only for a few people. Anyone and everyone can actually become a Mahajana, provided they rise up their consciousness to that level. The point here is, like, when this is said by Krishna, they are in me and I am in them, all of us also can have that status of having Krishna in our heart and we being in Krishna's heart. So all that is required is we need to be sincerely in devotion, but not artificially following in the footsteps of pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters. So I end here. Thank you very much for this opportunity. If there are any questions or comments, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, seeing the negative pastimes, so much for sharing. Let's go on.
Some voices are a little distant for me. I'm not able to exactly hear.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam to everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you all very much. Wonderful opportunity. I feel so happy that, on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, this verse is connecting directly to him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just, when you're talking about Mahajanas, suddenly I got this very silly doubt. I just want to express it though. I don't know why we in this material world have not recognized his services and conferred upon him the the awards that we could like Bharat Ratna or something like that. It is so silly of us and so, what do you call, foolish.
Yes. I've also had these thoughts so many times. If Prabhupada doesn't deserve a Bharat Ratna, or why Bharat Ratna, then,
Beyond that,
who
yes.
else? Right? I'm not belittling those who have got Bharat Ratna, but
Yeah, some highest award from international point of view, I would say.
yeah, but then, we are thinking like that. Unfortunate that we have not able to, we means the entire
Material world.
universe, in at least the Earth planet right now, we have not fully able to appreciate what Prabhupada has given. That is our lack of understanding. But one day people will come, that is there, right? The next 10,000 years are golden age, and it's all completely Prabhupada books will be the law book for spiritual life. So this will happen. Maybe, I don't know, possibly in our own life, we will see it. Some devotee will rise up to the level of making that point and bringing Prabhupada to that, the people's consciousness to that level that they are able to understand and appreciate Prabhupada. But Prabhupada is recognized by much higher beings than our local earth planetary personalities. There are times when, again, I will go into one more Leela if you are prompting me here. So I think in London or somewhere, Prabhupada was sitting and giving a class, and they had made one Vyasasan for him, a very beautiful Vyasasan. So Prabhupada was sitting and giving a class, and he was saying, who made this Vyasasan and all that, so and so made and all that. He said, make 2 more Vyasasan like this. There were 2 more Vyasasan like this. And I guess why? So Prabhupada has got his nice Vyasasan. He said, make 2 more Vyasasan like this. And they said, why? I forget the second. I think he said, actually, Narada Muni and Brahma, I think. The second person I'm doubtful because my memory is also a little lost in this particular pastime. He says, Brahma and, I don't know, Narada Muni should I say or not, because I'm not sure, but certainly he mentioned Narada Muni comes here like that. So just imagine, such great people recognize Prabhupada. That, when Prabhupada is either giving a class or a temple which Prabhupada has built, they take it that Krishna is there in that place, and they come and take darshan of Krishna there and maybe hear Prabhupada class there. There are other occasions when Prabhupada was simply chanting. He was giving a class, and suddenly he stopped the class and went starting one shloka, which is actually glorifying Narada, and he was in a very high-pitched voice, he was singing that, and people are stunned. They didn't realize what's happening, why Prabhupada was giving a class, why he stopped. This mantra, we don't even know. Many of them didn't know what he was chanting. And then later, when they asked, why Prabhupada, you suddenly went, ecstatic and you started, he said, no, Narada Muni was here.
Oh,
So
nice.
So he is recognized by such great personalities. What are we mortals? Of course, that doesn't mean we should not recognize Prabhupada, and we will, in course of time, our consciousness will improve, and Prabhupada's disciples and all his grand disciples, they are all in that path of trying to create this awareness of Krishna consciousness. I can even say Prabhupada consciousness, due to which, one day we will all recognize and give Bharat Ratna or whatever the world famous, whichever is the best, I don't know, Oscars and whatnot. Prabhupada's Kirtans can get an Oscar also. Like this, anything can happen. Will happen. Certainly it will happen. Nice that you are having that consciousness that, we should recognize Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
for all the pastimes that you shared. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madhava. So, Sri Hari Prabhu, is it okay now we end the session?
So, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji. Thank you
Thank you.
for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
That's
Prabhuji.
wonderful. Prabhupada is wonderful. When you talk about him, it is wonderful. That's all. We have no qualification. Hare Krishna.
Ugram Veera Mahavishnu.
Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityormrityum Namamiham. Hare Krishna.
I kindly tell about today, Prabhu. Prabhupada appearance. Can you please tell? Yes, please. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
So I was saying, can you please tell about today's specialty appearance?
Okay, so something about Prabhupada's appearance day. In a way, we were already started thinking about Prabhupada today because see, this appearance day of the Acharyas are so glorious. So it's again, we don't equate an appearance of the Acharya or the disappearance of the Acharyas like something very material, like we, at least, I or any human being is, born out of karmic reactions that we are here, that, they have to go through these, these, the strict law of nature, because why they were born to experience these things. For example, when you say, like, Prabhupada, like when he was born, his Jataka was, was read. And as per the Jataka, the astrologer, he said, this child, when he is 70, he will go all over the world and, he will build 108 temples. All these things were predicted. So is it also karma that, Prabhupada, only when 70 he can do these things, otherwise, that means it's karma, right? When his time comes, he will do. That means, in karma, we say, okay, after now you are, if you say, they will say you are this, you are having this, what do you call, you are now going through this bhukti, this dasa, and in this dasa, when you are having guru, that time you will do well. These are material things. So for Prabhupada also, is it like that only in 70 is getting guru dasa, that he can do these kind of things and all? Sometimes we tend to think more like that, but Prabhupada is completely transcendental. I will give you one example on this particular matter. So Prabhupada, when 70 years plus he is gone there, and he started this movement, and people always have that in the back of the mind, right? It is all, they are all fired up. They feel Prabhupada is the leader who can inspire the whole world, but they are also having in the back of their mind, Prabhupada is old. So someone makes this comment, oh, Prabhupada, you came late to us. That means, you are 70-year-old. Why couldn't you have come at 40 or 30 that, you could be a youth leader? Why now old man leader? Why not? It's not said, but thing is, you came late. Then Prabhupada said, me? I came late? You all came late. You see the purport behind this statement. So you relate to the first one when he said, Krishna will send all of you. And here he is making a statement, not connected, but you should relate to that. He's saying, you all are late. And these people who are Prabhupads, who served Prabhupada, like, can you imagine bringing up so many, like, I don't know, maybe I forget again, how much X volumes of Bhagavatam in 3 months' time. Is any ordinary book to write, proofread, and those two, the technology also was not so great. They have to do all these things, transcription. There is one video which talks about how a book, Prabhupada's book journeys from his dictaphone dictating, and then how it gets, he sends the tape in a courier to some, courier means mail to someone, mail means, they say mail in America as a post, not email or something. It goes there and someone receives it, and then he opens, and then they put it in another machine. They starting, or one person puts a typewriter and hears that and they type literally, and then there's so much English mistakes, there are spelling mistakes. Then someone is a Sanskrit expert. It's a huge exercise, but all of that happens in 2-3 months. So many volumes of Bhagavad-gītā, practically impossible. I know, last why I was saying. So when all of these things, when all of these things, how can it happen with simple people who have, like, not even understanding of either the philosophy, Sanskrit, just imagine, these are all not practically possible. But how come these people were able to do so many things in such a short time? These people means I'm referring to Prabhupada's disciples. So they were not ordinary personalities who have like mortals here, but they are, I'm not saying they are demigods or something. Maybe some of them are demigods, but they are all from higher planetary system. They are very, very capable of so many things. Krishna sent them, and he says, you all came late. That means, so the delay is not because Prabhupada was not ready to give Bhagavatam earlier, maybe in his 40s or 50s. The delay is because that these people took time to take birth and come here, and therefore Prabhupada had to spend that time as he's aging in this material body, right? Material body means it's not material body, should not be saying like that. But in this body, when he was here appearing as a mortal, he will have to, the body will age, right? So he was saying like that, and some devotees were immediately saw such great awakening in them when he said something like that. So what I'm trying to say is, Prabhupada is not someone who's simply a karmic man who came here and his time has come and he delivered and he became glorious. No. He is a direct associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it has been predicted in all the scriptures also. There are scriptures where he says, I will send my Senapati Bhakta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I will send my Senapati Bhakta who will propagate this message all over the world. At that time when he said that, people thought, okay, this Sena all over the world means, 500 years back, not even a proper email or, nothing. How you think about what is all over the world? We can't even think locality, right? I am in Rajarajeshwari Nagar. I can't think beyond it because I can't travel even further because we don't have that modern facilities for travel and all that. So people thought, okay, maybe all over India. But he really said all over the world. And I will send my Senapati Bhakta and he will do it. And then comes Prabhupada, in that same line, and he proved it and he did it. Now that statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can relate back to say, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said all over the world, and Prabhupada did it. In 11 years' time, he did it. So Prabhupada is not an ordinary personality. He is one of the direct associates of the Supreme Personality, an empowered Acharya. And his appearance day is the most auspicious thing for a devotee. Because we are all in India, every one of us know who is Krishna. What is Krishna? Whether who is Krishna is different. Because Krishna for all of us is some demigod or some god or our god. There are so many gods. He is one of the gods. So many years we all spent in India, I'm talking about, that Krishna is just one of the gods, so-called gods. But it is Prabhupada who brought that clarity, is who is Prabhupada and who is Krishna. And then our lives changed completely, right? All of us present here. It's an amazing thing how we can become so, our consciousness can get elevated. This is the contribution of Srila Prabhupada, and he came for this purpose. And for us, that is our auspicious day. When Prabhupada appeared, and then he is in his journey of delivering the entire world, we were also impacted. So that is his greatness, and is the greatest Acharya who have walked this planet. Yes, I am completely mindful of so many other Acharyas who have walked this planet. And there's nothing to take away from all these great acharyas. But Prabhupada, sometimes we take people who are very near us very casually. So just now we see some Prabhupada video and say, oh, here Prabhupada, he's also like me. We tend to think like that. But if Prabhupada is 1,000 years back, then it will be a different picture for us. So many acharyas have come and transform the world. But Prabhupada transformation is, if it is to be said, it is for the next 10,000 years. You can imagine the scale of who Prabhupada is. So his appearance is the most auspicious day. His appearance day is the most inspiring day for devotees. If we are able to take that very seriously, and he has given his entire life, and more so, he has given up his sleep to give us the Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada says, even if you are able to perfect one verse, what I have written, the purport, if you are able to internalize, you can go back to Godhead. So that is the power of Srila Prabhupada. And we are so fortunate that this is the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, and we should be very, very grateful. Try to glorify Prabhupada wherever you can, whenever you can, not just on the appearance day, because pure devotees, when they are glorified, Krishna is completely satisfied. And therefore, Krishna will bless us to improve in our devotional life. So, is that okay, Prabhu?
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Actually, it's a very wonderful coincidence that today is your class and today 9.0 and Shloka came and today is Prabhupada appearance. We are so fortunate. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.